Sometimes I think they like things a little bit dirty.
Right. Welcome to Mosaic of China, a podcast about people who are making their mark in China. I'm your host, Oscar Fuchs. So let me start today's episode by filling in some gaps from the conversation you're about to hear. First of all, we jumped straight in without me making a proper introduction. So my conversation is with the improvisational comedian Michelle Chu. Secondly, we never actually define what improvisational comedy, or improv, actually is. So in case you've never seen it before, it's a form of live theatre in which the plot, characters and dialogue of a game, scene or story are made up in the moment, usually with the help of suggestions from the audience. Michelle gives a very simple example of this at the beginning of our conversation, and then we go on to talk about Chinese observational comedy in general. And finally, we also didn't really mention that Michelle isn't a full-time improv artist. She actually still has a day job outside of these pursuits. So yeah, that makes her an extremely busy person, so I'm grateful for the time she took to have our chat. I hope you enjoy it. So, here is the first thing that I want to do. I'm going to play you something, and I want you to listen.
Oh.
I think you should interview Michelle Chu. She is doing improvisational comedian, mainly in Chinese.
So that was your friend Sabrina?
Yeah, Sabrina's voice. Very special.
So tell me about your relationship with her. How did you first meet?
Just in the workshop of SMAC, the first international improvisation team in Shanghai, or maybe in China.
Wow. So what year was that?
Wow, 2011, I think.
Well, we'll talk about that later. The first question I ask everyone on this show is, what object did you bring that in some way explains what you do here in China?
Okay, for improvisation comedy, this is a signature prop. When the bell rings, it means scene starts.
Right.
And the rings, it means end the scene. The ending of a scene or a challenge. So every learner or actor are afraid of it.
Right.
Or we also expecting, looking forward to it. Oh, please. When the bell rings, and the audience, they also looking forward to it. They want to see we die on the stage.
Wow. So it must have some kind of involuntary response in your brain.
Yeah.
Well, this is a perfect way to start our conversation. So why don't you talk me through one of the games that maybe you play and you use this bell?
Okay, there was a game. The name is just called a bell. When I tell you a story, when the bell rings, I have to change the last word of my sentence. For example, hi Oscar, I went there by a metro. I went here by a plane. I went here by a UFO. I'm not here. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Does that work in Chinese just as easily as in English?
Every program can be played in Chinese, in Mandarin. It's not a problem.
Right. Well, where did this story start for you then? You mentioned that you met Sabrina at a certain class. So tell me about that history.
My first time, I watched an improvisation comedy show in a restaurant. Yeah, because at that time, actually, there was no Chinese people who play improvisation. The improvisations from the US, the actors or some fans, they brought this kind of performance in Shanghai. So they made some program, they made some performance sometimes in a bar or in the restaurant. They don't even have a stage like professional at that time. I was quite surprised. Oh, wow, it's amazing. How can people give a reaction so quick? I cannot do that.
Was it a whole new concept for you? Had you seen anything similar in China before then?
Never. At that time, it's really shocked me. I didn't know exactly what is improvisation. And the next year, they have first a workshop to teach how to play improv comedy. I remember that moment. I just walk around that building, thinking about should I enter or not. I think at that time I was 31 years old. So I think, okay, just know about it. I'm always curious about things around me. So I would like to try new things. Maybe I won't be good at it, but I have to know about it.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And so there you were nervously walking around the poster.
Yeah.
And then you went in. So what was that course like?
That 3 months is really hard for me. The beginning is very embarrassed. Actually, I don't know how to start improv. For example, you have nothing in front of you. My partner talked to me. Hey, look, here, it's a beautiful flower. So in my mind, my direct reaction is like, oh, it's not a flower. And my coach just pointed me, yes, it's a flower. I should say yes to my partner.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes, the first thing about improvisation is this yes and.
Yeah, to accept and then to push. And I don't know how to push the scene, how to think about it, how to cooperate, how to trust on people. Yeah. My teacher, one of my teachers, his name is Kurt Marbury. He's the founder of SMAC. He taught me a lot with how to act, how to grow up. And he talked with me with the biggest honest, I think. And, the international or American people, the culture is different. And sometimes I cannot catch their pattern of humor, the things they are familiar with. Sometimes I think they like things a little bit dirty.
Right.
Or they sometimes make jokes about the president or something like this. Yeah.
Right.
And the difference between Chinese people and the foreign people. I'm okay with everything, but I think that's not all of humor. So I think for Chinese people, we still have special jokes only we know.
This is interesting because it correlates to one of the episodes that we had in last season. There was a Chinese comedian, and she tried Chinese humor, but she couldn't make it work. She really preferred to do her humor in English. And when she translated it into Chinese, the audience did not like it.
Yeah.
So you are more comfortable with the Chinese humor?
Actually, I'm okay with everything, but I would like to discover a lot from the Chinese humor and Chinese stories. In China, we also have so many kinds of humor.
Right.
Yeah, so many kinds of culture. So people, for example, Beijing and Shanghai and Guangzhou, we make some joke about the difference from people to people, from different background.
Right.
Yeah. And also sometimes we make the difference from people work for the Chinese enterprise and the people work for the foreign enterprise. Foreign enterprise, they talk like in Mandarin, but some English words inside.
That's funny.
Yeah. And also we have some humor about the way people talk. For example, people from the Northeast, if you talk with them maybe for 1 week, you will talk like them. And then Taiwan people, 怎么会这样的哈? Like this, in good mood. So it will wash your mind.
Right.
So their voice in your mind.
Interesting. This is all kind of like language, right? Language play.
Yeah.
What about the topics themselves in terms of the subject matter? Do you have, like you said, with American humor, it's quite rude, it's quite anti-authority because you laugh at the government, you laugh at the president. What kind of subjects do you use when you do the Chinese humor?
That's from our life, the real Chinese people life. How do we communicate with parents? We talk about our life in school, how do we communicate with teacher and the students? Because the school life is quite different from the foreign schools. Every time we make a choice, it's a different way of thinking from the foreign countries. So that's a real life. That's make the real difference from the humor. For example, I used to make a scene. In that scene, I played as a young girl. It's from an audience story. The audience is a young girl, so I played her. And I make things bigger. I'm a little princess. Everybody should follow me. If I make a mistake, 1 + 1 is 4. And everybody around me, wonderful. Oh, that's our little princess. So it's a little bit bigger, but it's real. So people will laugh at this. I remember one of my partners who once played a scene, and the mother just persuade her, hey, you have to see this guy. He's good. Maybe you can try to be boyfriends and girlfriends and maybe go further. And the girl answers, oh, Mom, come on. I'm 38 years old, so please don't introduce me any guys. So people will laugh when she said she's 38 years old. Because for Chinese people, to introduce to be a boyfriend, that's too old.
I get it.
Yeah.
But it's implicitly funny, right? I think with a Western audience, because they wouldn't necessarily know what you're going through as a 30-year-old.
Yeah. They don't care about this.
Even if I understand the words, I won't understand why it's funny, right?
Yeah. That's it.
And so tell me about how the audience also started to learn about improvisational comedy, because presumably if you didn't know about it, then your audience didn't know about it.
Yeah. So every time we start a show, we have to make sure with the audience. So now we all together will make a show. This is improv. So the only way is you give your ideas to us. We take your idea, and right now we give you a scene. So then you believe, it's improv. So after the show, 90 minutes or 2 hours, the audience will say, I trust on you. It's true. Everything is right now at present. Yeah.
Right, because they are the ones who have given you all the content, right?
Yeah. Even sometimes, we have a theater, but a very small theater. Only 80 or 100 people can sit inside.
Oh, so they're very, very close.
Yeah, very close. I even can touch them. So sometimes I just put them on the stage to play with us. And audience enjoyed that. They just, I would like to get the next chance to get on the stage to play the actors.
Right. So in that way, in Shanghai, people are not shy.
It depends. For young people, if we have a very good warm-up, after that, people won't be shy. Because everybody, they pay. They want to enjoy. They want to participate into it. But some, the old uncle and aunties, it's like too quiet.
Right. And if the warm-up doesn't work, you already know, we're in trouble today.
Yeah. Always, I can preview. Before, I have a habit to just have a look at the audience when they enter the theater. I can see, today atmosphere, the air, we will do a good job today. If sometimes I see not a lot of audience in the theater and they just play with their mobile phone, they don't talk to each other, so I can preview, it's hard work today.
Right. But then it must be nice when you start with that audience and you can transform them into a good audience.
Yeah, right now I have some experience with how to warm up people. So I must give so much energy to them. Everybody, they can feel me, feel my feeling. Yeah.
And so tell me about your theater.
Okay, so before, I talked about the snack in the restaurant or in a bar. After that, I have my own team, and we play in the art space. They gave us the chance to play once a month. And what surprised me is art space, they have a very good resource of audience. People would like to pay for different kind of show, different kind of exhibition. So at that time, we have some audience. They just follow us from that time for so many years. And after that, there is another group in Shanghai. They are professional. So they invite us to join them so we can have a better resource. So we agreed to join them, and we have more audience. Right now, we still work together, the Improviser Alliance.
And how do you say that in Chinese?
即兴者联盟.
Oh, so Jixing is
Yeah,
improvisation.
Improvisation. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Great. So have you seen improvisation pop up in different cities in China?
Yeah, that's what we are so pleased to see. Before only Guangzhou, Shenzhen, Shanghai, Beijing, we have some improvisers. But right now, we can see every province, the biggest cities, each one, they have improvisers. And also, besides improvisation show and the more stand-up comedies, Mosaic comedies, and sketch is getting better and better.
That's great. And what do you think improvisation has done for you? How has it changed your life, like outside of the performance?
Okay. First, with my family, I think I accept them more. We still say yes to each other. And I try my best to persuade them to try new things.
How lovely. And do you follow that same recipe yourself?
Yeah. Before, my traveling plan is to the countries maybe I'm really familiar with. But right now, I choose to try. I choose to take the biggest risk. Jordan, Morocco, Azerbaijan, and Iran.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I also do some percussion music band. A friend played African drums. So I just came to his studio to play with him. I found, so many people dance, sing, and play together. It's noisy, it's interesting. So I joined their events of African drums. And we start to know something about South American music. Hey, samba. So, okay, why not? So we go to the underground, the studio, and we try to play samba. I think the band is getting better and better. Our name, Groove Papa.
Groove Papa.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen out for Groove Papa. Thank you so much, Michelle.
Thank you, Oscar. I don't know. I never thought of that. I can share you so much things.
Yeah. What we'll do now is we'll go on to part 2.
Okay.
Question 1. What is your favorite China-related fact?
I think the most impressive fact about China is that China is colorful enough and is big enough. For example, Guangdong province and Mongolia.
In Mongolia,
province.
right?
Yeah, in Mongolia. So one is very cold, like outside the Great Wall. But in Guangdong province, lifestyle is quite different.
Very good.
Yeah.
Question 2. Do you have a favorite word or phrase in Chinese?
Yeah, a very old one. I don't know if you ever heard about that. It's from Confucius.
Okay.
己所不欲，勿施于人. Don't impose the thing you don't want to others.
Oh, right.
And now we can add it another part. And also don't impose the thing you love to others. I think at least we should give the respect to each other, to give enough space to everybody.
Agreed.
Yeah.
What is your favorite destination within China?
Last year, I went to Quanzhou in Fujian province.
Right.
Have you ever been there before?
I know about it because of they have the first Muslims in China, right?
Yeah. And when I was there, I found that not only Muslim in that city, but also with some other religion, very old religion. How to say? People will respect to the fire.
Zoroastrianism.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So each kind of culture, each kind of religion, they have their own space perfectly with harmony in that city. It's very interesting. I really love this kind of atmosphere.
Yeah, that's great. I really want to go now.
Yeah.
If you left China, what would you miss the most and what would you miss the least?
Oh, if I leave China, of course I miss my theater and my partners.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes me think that really it's a big part of your life now. Like, how big do you think this is part of your life?
Oh, almost maybe 70%.
Wow.
I think.
Yeah, we haven't talked about your job. Have you? Do you think that you use any of these skills in your job, in your working
Yeah,
life?
sure. It's the way to communicate with people. 5 years ago, I think I won't have this kind of energy.
And what about the thing that you will miss the least if you left China? Is there anything?
Yeah, sure. When you get off a metro when you get off an elevator, somebody just stand in the middle of the gate. You face to face.
Yeah, it drives me crazy. Especially in the lift. Like, how am I going to come out?
Yeah. You want to kiss me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. What is that? Why do they do that?
Yeah, I really hate that,
Right. Is there anything that still surprises you about modern life in China?
You can borrow an umbrella in the metro station.
Oh, how does that work? So you scan it, you take the umbrella.
Yeah. And you take the umbrella in 24 hours. You can give it back in any metro station.
Nice.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that actually. Because for me, sometimes I just walk past and I don't see.
Okay. I think every metro station have the
machine, right?
Yeah, the green machine. Try.
Oh, very good. What is your favorite place to go out? To eat or to drink or just hang out?
Actually, I didn't have so much time to hang out. But a friend of mine took me to have a city walk along the Yu Garden and the Suzhou River. So we checked the old house, very old small streets around that place. And I think, there's feeling of the time passing by. You can see old people reading newspapers in their old house. Maybe you can knock, ask for an old uncle to give you a haircut. And you can buy the fried chicken and you have it just on the riverside. It's just a feeling of happiness.
Yeah. There aren't many places like that in Shanghai.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What is your best or worst recent purchase?
Last week, I'm going to prepare my friend gift. And I have another friend, she's a painter. And she paints pets, your cat, your dog. And I would like to give a gift, like a painting to my friend from this painter friend. And she asked me, okay, please show me your cat or your dog's picture. I said, no. No cat and no dog. So what should I paint? My friend. So you paint my friend as a cat, okay? A black cat. And I just sent some pictures of my friend and she painted out. It's a cat, but it's my friend.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay, go on, show me now. It's nice.
Yeah, even with the details. And the eyes. It's exactly my friend's eyes. When I gave this painting to my friend, it's me.
Oh, wow.
And
that's
tears
great.
here.
Wow. Thank you. What is your favorite WeChat sticker?
I made it by myself.
Very good. So you did the makeup.
Yeah.
And what does it say?
回眸一笑百媚生. That means with this face, she turned back with so much charm.
Lovely.
Yeah.
What's your go-to song to sing at KTV?
I will sing 我的心里只有你没有他. I only have you in my heart. There's no space for anyone else.
Who sings that?
黄小虎, a singer from Taiwan.
Okay.
Yeah. I love this song because it's in my my key is still in the tone. I feel comfortable about this. And it's a little bit jazz style and a little bit drama style. And also 1980s disco.
Oh, that's peak Michelle. All right, I will.
我的心里只有你，没有他。你可知道我的情意并不假。
Oh, that's a free performance. And finally, what other China-related media or sources of information do you use?
Oh, my favorite is Bilibili.
I have never used it. What is Bilibili?
Oh, you should use it. It's really a loving platform. It's a video platform. Movies, documentary movies, and just the short videos made by app owners. They make videos by themselves. So people will give their own understand.
Right.
Yeah, everything you can check.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Oscar.
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I enjoyed talking with you.
And tell me then, so out of all of the people who you know in China, who would you recommend that I interview in the next season of Mosaic of China?
I introduce you Da Jiang. He's a very funny boy and he's very warm-hearted. And he's a documentary director with patients with Tourette's. Tourette's, yeah.
Right.
We try to make the public to accept and understand more about the patients. Yeah.
I'm really interested in that.
You will.
Thanks so much, Michelle.
Thank you, Oscar.
Well, I hope that today's episode helped to explain why your Chinese friends don't laugh at any of your jokes. Michelle actually gave quite a few more examples of jokes that work in Chinese, so to hear the full version of the episode, please follow the instructions on mosaicofchina.com to subscribe to the premium version of the show on Patreon or iFadian. Here are a few clips of what you missed.
Corona. So on the street, everybody call us Corona. People's not sure about the situation. 吃饭那个今天挺热的，完了再得买个西瓜啊。Understand?
I understand. I'm a bit scared. But how does it work then with the Cultural Bureau? Because I thought that you need to have permission about what the content will be.
Right now it's a little bit tough. 床前明月光，疑是地上霜. The audience will laugh because that's not the level of a high educated.
One correction I think I should make is that I don't think it's accurate to say that the Muslims in Quanzhou were the first Muslims in China. I'm not even sure if I was right in guessing about Zoroastrianism either. I hope that at some point I'll have a guest on the show from Quanzhou who can put me right. In any case, I've posted a couple of photos of the city on social media, so please check out the images on Instagram or Facebook, or add me on my WeChat ID, Mosaic of China, and I'll add you to the listeners group there. From today's episode, you'll also see photos of Michelle and her object, the dreaded bell. Her favourite WeChat sticker, which we may not have clearly mentioned, was of a radish wearing makeup. There are a bunch of photos of Michelle performing with the Improvisers Alliance, as well as drumming with Groove Papa, and lots more besides. Mosaic of China is me, Oscar Fuchs, with artwork by Denny Newell. Stick until the end, where you'll hear my catch-up with the dance program curator Sabrina Chen from Season 1, Episode 26, whose voice you heard at the beginning of today's episode. I'll be travelling for a few days next week, but I'm going to try and press all the right buttons so that the next episode gets released on time while I'm away. So hopefully see you then. Hello, Sabrina.
Hello, Oscar. Nice to see you again.
Yes, nice to see you too. You have different haircuts each time I see you.
Well, I didn't wash my hair, sorry, this morning.
It looks good. I'm going to start with a reintroduction, just in case people didn't listen to your original episode.
Yeah.
So you are the program director for the theatres at the Shanghai International Dance Centre.
Yes.
And we had a great initial interview where you talked me through the appreciation of dance. And since then, I've been to a few shows and I feel like I'm now an amateur fan.
Yeah.
I still don't know what I'm looking at, but I enjoy it.
Yeah, you have even left your voice in our theater.
Wow. So explain what happened.
And then you made the announcement.
Right.
So every time when we start show, we will have to listen to your voice first to make sure we don't eat, we don't take photos during the show.
But I thought what I recorded was just the special announcement for COVID, right? So it included things about all the measures that you had put into place.
Yeah, but it's still within the post-pandemic period, so we still keep using that thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Grand Theatre of the Shanghai International Dance Centre. I hope it's doing a good job.
Yeah, I really enjoy it.
It hasn't launched my new career as a voiceover artist. Sadly, no one else has come.
Well, you should invite your friends to come to the theater to listen to it. Maybe some more people will invite you to do more announcements.
Yes. So, you are in charge of the program at the dance theatres.
Yes.
And a lot of your job was about going around the world and looking at dance companies and inviting them to Shanghai.
Yeah.
So that's not quite what you're doing these days.
No, because till now we still cannot invite any international groups come into China. So actually we had lots of performances performed by the Chinese local artists. We haven't actually cut the connection with the international world because we did some programs and exchange programs through the internet. Discussion on Zoom, or we had a recently collaboration with Scottish Dance Theatre to make a short film, something like that.
Yes. And this is what I expected you to say, because a lot of artists who are normally working in theatres, they've had to adapt in this last year, 2 years, right?
Yeah, I think it's quite difficult for all types of artists around the world. For the Chinese artists, they're quite lucky because China is quite big enough and we recovered very soon, which gives more opportunities to the local artists in the past year. So it's actually a good opportunity for the Chinese artists.
And I guess that would have at least been one positive, because maybe you would have discovered some local dance companies in China that otherwise you may have overlooked, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly. Especially we give the opportunity to the young artists who maybe never had the opportunity to go on the stage, but we discovered them in the last year because it was very difficult for them. We even sponsored them to support them with real money.
Yeah.
Yeah, to help them to make some new programs and bring them to the theater. Yeah.
Wow, so actually you've like almost commissioned this work.
Yeah, we commission, we co-produce, lots of interaction with them. I think every theater in China in the past year has to carve our own way to make some money. But what we did was we opened our online shop with the live host. You know, it's very popular. It's a phenomenon in China. Everybody sell goods through the internet, through Taobao. We did so. And the host, guess who are the hosts?
Go on.
The ushers.
Wow. And so they've become like personalities now.
Yes, because during those months, there's no job for the ushers, no performance. But we don't want them to just be around and with nothing to do. So we gave them this new opportunity. Go on Taobao every night to see how other hosts sell goods. So your responsibility is come back to the theater and from the camera to sell our theater goods, the souvenir, yeah. And so actually it was a great experience because we also discovered the other character of our ushers and that they are so talented.
Yes.
Before that, we only knew that their job was to be polite and open the door and and check the tickets, right? But actually, they're so talented. They can sing, they can play music. So in the broadcast room, while selling the goods, they sometimes will play guitar and sing the song to our audience.
Amazing.
Yeah, and our purpose is not really to sell the goods because it's not that much money that we can make. It's a way to spread the culture of theater to more people on the internet. And since then, we already have the tradition. Every program, we will sell it on Taobao.
Yeah, right, through these ushers. What about the future then? Like, can you already start to plan some overseas companies to come to China, or is it still too early?
We have always planning for the international companies, but it gets cancelled all the time. So it gets cancelled, and we replan, and cancelled again, and replan. So we have to keep working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plan A, Plan B, Plan C, Plan D.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what date they will finally be able to come?
I think we try to make it happen in end of this year because the Shanghai International Arts Festival will happen in October to November because it was sadly cancelled last year.
Of course.
But this year, I think they will manage to at least do something.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I will be releasing this catch-up when we release the episode with Michelle Chu.
Yeah.
So Michelle Chu was the one who you recommended for season 2. Have you been keeping in touch with Michelle?
Yes, of course. Yeah, we always went out for dinner. Yeah, and she's very positive. Every time when I see her, I don't know where she gets all these jokes from. So she's really a talent.
Wow. And let's keep in touch, Sabrina. I'm really happy that you were in season 1.
Yeah.
And the connection through Michelle will still be there. So please keep in touch.
No problem.